moment.
Okay.
There you are, Mike.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate everyone's patience while we get up to the new century where everyone's on computers. And unfortunately, we are meeting via Teams tonight, but it is an opportunity to meet at least. I know we've had some suggestions that we're not meeting enough. So being able to do this online gives us the opportunity to get some things done tonight. And I really appreciate everybody joining that can. We're going to keep the same agenda as we normally do when it comes to the public comment section. What we're going to do is we're going to have you raise your hand, and Kyle's just going to go through the list one at a time. Still the same rules, 3 minutes. There's a clock at the end of the 3 minutes. It just cuts you off, and then we'll go to the next person. We appreciate everybody. And if there's any questions, there is a place on here at the top left where you can chat, where you can type in some questions. And if we have an opportunity to answer them, we will. If not, we'll collect those and we will get an answer back to you. So I appreciate everybody coming tonight, for having our meeting on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 at 7:10 p.m. Unfortunately, we're fully remote on Microsoft Teams. If you need to join, if you're calling in, if you want to join by Teams, it's https //cremain.link.tc.meeting, or you can call in at 469-708-0487. Meeting ID 703-275-294 hashtag. Now, this meeting will be held online with a link provided above. Residents wishing to participate in the public comment or public hearing portion of the agenda may do so by participating or call in using the phone number provided as detailed on the agenda. I am going to do a quick roll call, and then we'll do a pledge of allegiance. So let's see. Ann Gass.
Present.
Ken Farrington.
Present.
And Vince Palange.
Present.
And Mike Johnson, present. Unfortunately, Charity will not be able to make it this evening. If she gets an opportunity to call in, she will. But she's been having some trouble this afternoon. So first, I am going to stand. I do have a flag. You can't see it. And I'm going to do the Pledge of Allegiance because it's important. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with justice for all. All right, so we're going to do, so Kyle, can you mute everybody until they're ready to talk? That way we don't have a lot of background noise.
Even the presenters?
Yeah, just
Okay.
just mute everybody, and then they can just raise their hand when they're ready to speak. That way, it's just easier. Let's see. So the approval of minutes. Does anybody have any questions on the minutes that were sent out to anybody?
We need
No.
a motion to approve.
Yep. So, Ann, do you have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'm so moved.
I'll second it. And since Vince, we can't see you, if you want to unmute, all in favor, raise their hand to say all in favor. So 3, and Vince, I'm not sure, but so let's get 3 to on there. So council communications, council correspondence, and committee reports. I'm going to start with Ken Farrington. Do you have any updates? And you need to unmute yourself. Or Kyle, can you unmute him, please?
So I had a ZBA meeting, and they had one applicant who was trying to apply for a cat-only kennel on Yarmouth Road. And unfortunately, it wasn't zoned for that. So that application was denied by the board. Then we had a rec department meeting, which they gave us a tour of the new building that they're doing, which is the Manual Arts building, and that is turning out very nice. I know Anthony and Nellie are very proud of that. I'd like to thank the grade maintenance department, who's done 90% of the work on that building. They've done a great job. It looks really good. They also covered scholarships that they were going to hand out. They did the tree lighting, Halloween, and they closed out soccer and flag football, and they're going to do ice skating rinks out behind Pennell, and they're going to make up 2 of them this year, I guess. So then they talked about Pineland, which I guess New Gloucester is going to vote on that. They were very excited about Pineland. It's a huge opportunity for them with the New Gloucester Rec Department. So that was great. And then they decided on, they were trying to figure out how to come up with new programs to generate more income. And that was the end of that meeting. So that covers both my meetings.
Vince, do you have anything for your meeting? Kyle, can you unmute him?
He needs to unmute himself.
Okay. Vince, there you go.
All right, I'm good. All right. On 12/1, I attended a Gray Board of Assessment Review meeting. This meeting was an extension of 2 prior meetings and involved the appeal of a denial of an abatement application regarding a 2024 property tax by a Gray resident. After a detailed review and hours of discussion, this appeal was ultimately denied. And, I understand that obviously this is a challenging time of the year to get everyone together, but obviously not a fan of the remote meetings, especially when we have important items like on today's agenda. And I just wanted to let people know that weren't aware that New Gloucester did not select the 2 at-large members last night for the cost-sharing formula. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Ann.
Yeah, so Resiliency met on November 24th and discussed the watershed management plan, stream classification and delineation work that's related to the surface water protection ordinance, which is different from the watershed management plan, and creating a handout for code enforcement officers to give to property owners to help educate them about watersheds and how to avoid polluting them. The next quarterly report for the community action grant is due the end of December, or actually mid-January, but the quarter ends at the end of December. We bid farewell and safe adventures to our terrific resilience fellow, Audrey Piper, who finishes her work with us this month. Audrey is off to the Peace Corps in Panama, and we're really excited for her and that opportunity. We would not have been able to do this work without her. And just for info, the Resiliency Committee moved its regular monthly meeting to December 8th. Otherwise, we were due to meet December 22nd, which was too close to the holiday. Open Space has not met since our last council meeting. I have no activities to report. And for correspondence, I received a fair amount of correspondence in support of the watershed management plan and a petition advocating for a mooring ordinance, which you'll see on the agenda. I mean, sorry, in the part of the packet and on the agenda later tonight. That's it for me.
Excellent. Thank you. And Vince, it's great to see you. You just still
Good to be here.
There
I figured it out.
All right,
Kyle,
awesome.
it was on for whatever reason it was on block for cloud, but I figured it out.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so that comes to me. So there has been a lot that we have worked on over the last few weeks, doing some reorganization, working with Denise and her team. What I really think is important is this, is Denise and the board have really come together. I think this is the best spot that I've seen us in a long time. I think the team that Denise is managing is feeling empowered to do their job. I feel like we're in a good place. We've got a lot coming up. We've got a lot of things we need to clean up, unfortunately, but we'll get there. I did have some correspondence with some people. One, in particular, obviously the watershed, still getting a lot of feedback on that, the mooring, and I'm getting some questions in regards to the town manager position. I had 2 people reach out to me. One is a interim town manager. offering help, even if we're not interested in hiring them. Wondering if, if they'd like to sit down with us and give us some help and some ideas. And then I also had a former town manager that reached out and offered the same service. We have a lot on our plate with the holidays coming up, but it's something that, we are probably going to need to discuss at some point in time. And I'm just going to skip down to it right now. A lot of people are asking about the town manager search. I think it's really important that everybody on this committee, on this board, and the public has input onto what we're looking for. I don't see any hurry to go out there and do a search over the next few weeks through the holiday season. I think probably the smartest thing to do is collect data on what we think is important for this town and take our time and get through this budget process and make a decision through that process. But probably it won't be till the end. We haven't sat down and formally met as a group about it yet, and it's going to take a little bit of time. We want to make sure that the next town manager that comes into this town understands what the goals of this town are, how to work with this board, and and enjoys what they do. I'm going to actually ask my council members if they want to add anything to that.
I think we should wait. I thought we talked about this. I thought we wanted to change the charter first and the personnel policy before we move forward on electing or appointing a new town manager.
Well, I agree with you, Ken, that we do have to make changes. The minimum time, I think Britt looked up for me, was about a year it will take to change the charter. But I think that we take into consideration what we want to do when we're looking for the right person. But that's one of the things that we need to discuss is how to open that back up. And that is Vince and I have talked about starting that process. Ann, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think that, first of all, we have not as a council in a public meeting discussed opening up the charter and making that progress, starting that process. So I think, transparency requirements, really suggest that we ought to have that kind of public discussion. And I'm not on board with waiting until we've changed the charter to hire a new town manager. But I think in terms of hiring a new town manager, last time we brought the finalists to the staff, and the staff all chose our former town manager. I think it's important. Right, it wasn't the whole staff; it was just the department heads. I'd like to see them involved as well.
Mike, you're muted.
Yeah, I was saying you were muted too, and I was talking saying you're muted.
That's
so
okay.
Go for it, Vince. Sorry.
All I was going to say is I think right now with everything that's gone on, I just think we all need an opportunity just to catch our breath. We have a lot of important things on there, of which this is obviously one. And I think in reality is we just need to make sure we get the right hire. And so I just want us to be diligent. That's what's most important to me. You're on mute, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. So we're going to move over to the report from the town manager.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me the nomination to become your interim town manager, and I'll be here as long as you need me in that capacity until you're ready to make that change. I think the last 2.5 weeks have been primarily working with the council and working with department heads, looking to stabilize, focus on listening, learning, and hitting the reset button. Not big on changes, just reset and let's just look at what we need to do. So meeting with the department heads, I asked them, what were they looking for in a meeting structure and what have you. We'll be meeting twice a month rather than just once a month, which is what they wanted. And I expressed to them that I have an open door collaborative process. I like to involve all the stakeholders involved in decisions that are going to be implemented to be at the table making the decisions. Our department head meetings are going to focus more on initiatives and project driven rather than report outs. And And we're setting them up so they're the same week after a council meeting so that we can actually do a report out from the council meeting so that there's actually a synergy between both units. I've been working with Town Clerk Britt, looking at streamlining the council process, looking at some of the communities that I've served in where the requirement for the person that had an item on the agenda was to help create an item commentary. So Britt's doing some research on that. You'll be seeing that in January. So I'll give you an example for the watershed management plan. What that would do is the item commentary would be like a cover sheet, and it would tell you this has already been before council. It came in September, then the minutes from that outcome would be included. And so you'd have the whole packet included. So you wouldn't have to be remembering when it came through and what happened. So we're going to be working on that. And that's to streamline the meetings, also make them more to increase transparency. So the public who, let's say, hasn't been at a meeting where that issue was discussed, they can actually have that information at their disposal. Yes, I'm still wearing the economic development hat. Obviously to a lesser degree because of the work that's involved. I just wanted to happily say, and it's confidential at this point, but it's okay because it's out in the public. There has been an inquiry from an out-of-state company that's looking to locate specifically in Gray and specifically wanted access to the highway and a lot of commercial property. I've match them up with a property owner, and they're looking at building an 80 to 100,000 square foot facility, which if you look at Maine, that hasn't happened in a long time. So pretty exciting news, and we'll see if that transpires. Looking ahead in January, the TIFs, we'll be doing a TIF workshop in January. You have 2 expiring TIF districts, one that will expire at the end of this coming fiscal year. The other one, you'll have another year. So the decision that council we'll need to make as to whether to let them expire, what to do with the existing balances, and then if we want to expand the downtown to a more robust program. We'll be meeting with staff and counselors that are interested in working on this. Obviously, 2 counselors I would love to have to sit at the table to just try to talk about this before we get to the public with that. Working on the wastewater treatment facility feasibility study. That project should be complete in early 2026. It's looking like having a standalone facility, obviously in Gray, is probably not going to be an economically wise decision. The 2 tie-ins may be, but again, we'll take a look at all the facts and that'll be presented. I just don't want people to be confused that because the study was commanded by a prior budget/council that it means that we're going to do this. It's just more we need to explore and to see whether we need to put this to rest or if it's something that needs to be financed and looked at for a future budget years. Justine and the auditors will be coming before in January for the FY24 audit, and that's scheduled for a workshop. And last but not least, the village transformation project with now known in the state's main DOT eyes as the Gray Downtown Revitalization Project. Where Gray has bubbled up to being one of the top 2 projects that is going to be sent to a build application, grant application. Project's about $31 million, and the requirement would be 10% match from the town if the town wants to support that, and a 10% match from DOT. So the town would be on the hook for $3.1 million for a $31 million project. I'm meeting next week with staff, DOT engineers, their planning staff, and the project, like I said, has been on DOT's radar for 20 years, and it's finally bubbled up to that. And not saying that this is going to go through. This is something you'll need to discuss. When we get to the next steps, I know that some counselors have expressed concern as members of the public on components of the plan that they're not comfortable with. Keep in mind that getting the grant application is also the engineering, preliminary engineering and design, PDR. When that gets done, that we can make some changes at that level. So we'll be working with counselors on that. And I think that's what I've been working on.
Thank you so much. And I just want to reiterate a couple things is that I'm really excited that the staff has really stepped up. I think all of us have had an opportunity to talk to individuals, and it seems like it's a much more relaxed atmosphere. Everyone is behind Denise, and I'm really excited that that we're moving forward, and the ship is not sinking. It's turning around, and I think that's really important. Thank you, Denise, for all the effort that you put in. I know it's a lot more than we had all expected originally. So now we're going to open it up for public comment of non-agenda items. The public's invited to address the council on any item of business that's not on the agenda for tonight's meeting. We want to reiterate that the citizens have the right and are encouraged to speak during the public comment regarding items not on the agenda or regarding item at the time in which it does not appear on the agenda prior to the council beginning its deliberation. All comments and questions during the public comment or an agenda item are limited to not more than 3 minutes. Anyone in attendance or in person remotely who wishes to speak have an opportunity to speak once. The chair may allow one person, any person who has already addressed the council during the public comment on an agenda item or during public hearing to speak again, but only to clarify a point or share a new and previously unheard point of view. This is not intended as a time for debate. The chair will close public comment as soon as no new information being presented. Additionally, comments are welcome at the second public comment session period of the agenda. I also want to mention this. Ken Farrington brought a great idea to me. And, I really think it's important that if you have a question that you email it to us and we spend the time getting the right research. But if there's a question that, something that, is quick and easy to answer, I'm going to write them all down at the end. If I have the answer, I'll give it to you. Otherwise, we will document everything. Britt and I will figure out the right person to answer, and we'll get back to you. Again, it's not question and answer time because we want to make sure we give you the right information. But feel free to email us. I think that's really important. So what we're going to do is this: we're going to have you raise your hand. There's a clock up here. Kyle's going to pick one person at a time. Once you start speaking, the clock will start. And when the 3 minutes is over, it'll shut off and Kyle will pick the next person. Kyle, we're ready when you are.
Okay, so if anyone in the public wants to raise their hand on Teams, I will unmute you. Nobody so far. If anyone wants to public comment, just raise your hand on Teams and I will unmute you. And I guess no one wants to do it, Mike.
Are we sure that there's not they can do it? Like there's nothing impeding them?
Nope, nothing is impeding them.
Okay.
Okay, Susan raised her hand. So Susan, I'm going to unmute you. And then give me a second to start this timer. And once you see the timer start to count down, you can go ahead, Susan. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, she might have muted.
No, she's muted. It shows her muted on that. Susan, you got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, I was just testing the system to make sure it worked. So anyone that wanted to speak, that it definitely did work. So it is working and it seems to be going just fine. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. All right. If there's nobody else, then we're going to keep rolling. Anybody else? All right. We're gonna move to new business. All right. New business. We've got order 2526-14, the authorization of waiver of foreclosure. And let me just move this over here and pull that up. So it's be it ordained, the Gray Town Council hereby authorized the recording of a waiver of foreclosure for the two properties as described on tax map 027 lot 020-011-042, account number 1000, located at 42 Maplewood Park, and tax map 027 lot 020-011-01, account number 969, located at 11 Maplewood Park. If delinquent taxes are not paid by January 7th, 2026, as recommended by the Finance Director. This is the first and final reading, December 2nd, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I'll
So
take that
moved.
motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. All right. So we'll open it up for discussion. Is Justine on here? Denise?
I think Lauren is.
Is Lauren on here? And you can speak.
I would just say, I think we've done this before. This issue has come up before with Maplewood Park, and the issue is that if we don't, refuse to take ownership of these through a tax foreclosure, then we could own a couple of manufactured housing units in the park that we're paying ground rents or ground leases on, I mean, I guess the one question I have is whether or not the units have value that and the town could sell them. I mean, I think we can only sell them. We can't realize an extraordinary profit from them, over and above what the taxes are, the taxes owed are. But I'm just sort of curious if we could get a, you know, I mean, I'm not sure what happens going forward if we refuse to do the tax foreclosure and they continue to not pay their delinquent taxes.
Yeah, and I agree with the last time. I think that we talked about this. What happens if we do end up owning it is if we sell it, then we need to give anything above and beyond our costs and the money owed to us back to them.
Right.
The thing is that if people don't have a reason to pay, they're not going to. And we are able to recoup our costs if we need to get legal involved and everything else. I don't know. I wish Justine was here to answer the question. But Britt, I have a question for you if you're on here. The way this reads is that, we aren't going to necessarily take it over, but we have the right to take it over on the 7th if the tax is not paid. Is that correct?
That is my understanding. I'm actually currently reading the statute right now, so I can get back to you in a minute.
Oh, Lauren's on here now. Lauren, you could probably give us some more information if you can.
Thank you.
I just
And
allowed
you-
her mic, so she needs to unmute herself.
Currently reading the statute.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Lauren.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm sorry, can you ask the question again so I can
All right, what I'm going to do, Lauren, is I'm going to read to you the waiver of foreclosure, and we'd like to understand what it actually means. So it says, be it ordained, the Greytown Council authorized the recording of a waiver of foreclosure for 2 properties. I don't need to read it all to you, but there's 2 properties in the mobile home park, and it says if the delinquent taxes are not paid by January 7th, 2026, as recommended by the finance director. So what our question is this: the waiver of foreclosure, my understanding is what that allows us to do is foreclose on it if we want to. It doesn't mean that we have to. And if we decide to do it, then if we sell it, then we can recoup our costs and refund the money, anything above and beyond. Do you understand what it actually means?
Yeah, yes. So with the waiver of foreclosure, effectively what that does is record that we do not want to foreclose on that property automatically. We do not want to take ownership of it and be responsible for any of the costs associated with it. With a mobile home in a mobile home park, if we do not waive the foreclosure, then we as the town become responsible for the lot rent and any other costs associated with the upkeep of that mobile home. Ordinarily, we would not want those to avoid those fees. If we don't record the waiver, then yes, it would automatically foreclose and the town would become the owner.
Okay, so actually it means something a little different than I thought. So what you're saying is this: we're putting this on there so we don't automatically own it. We could, but we don't want to. Is that the best way to say it?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. I'm more comfortable with that. But Ann, you've got a question? You're on mute still.
Sorry. Yeah. I can I just, it means that we don't automatically end up with owning it through tax foreclosure, or that we, could do, if we elect to at a future date, can we change our minds? And I guess that's question one. And question two, has anybody evaluated these properties to see how much work they need? I mean, what kind of shape they're in and how much, a sense of what kind of value they have? I mean, everybody's busy right now and nobody needs this extra work, but I am concerned about the precedent of people just not paying their taxes and being able to go and do that indefinitely.
Okay, so I do want to point out one thing, Anne, is that we send out the foreclosure notice with the other ones, and historically, we have received payment. It's
Okay.
just to protect, it's just to protect the town's financial impact. It's not to say that we definitely will on everyone we waive on, but it has been the case where once we send the foreclosure notice out and they receive that, they do pay. I know Justine reaches out to them as well to make sure that they understand exactly what the process is for these two in particular, since we are going to waive the foreclosure on them if they don't pay.
So
Right,
what,
and
I just
so-
want to make, go for it.
I mean, I just want to make, so just to be clear, if we waive the foreclosure, we can't undo that decision. At that point, it's not something we can change our minds about later if they continue to not pay, for example.
Not for this year. We can actually
Okay.
foreclose the following year.
Okay.
So we
All right,
do
thank you.
lien, yeah, we do lien the property every year. So just because we waive this year doesn't mean that we will waive next year. It said every year we have the ability to foreclose.
So by next year, you mean 2026?
Correct, when the next, so the 2025 taxes, because these are the 2024, I believe we're talking
Okay.
about right now. So yeah, so when, because we already have a lien on the 2020 FY 2025, those we can follow the same process where they will automatically foreclose next year.
Thank you.
So
Ken, you've
every
got a-
year.
Ken- Okay. Ken, you've got a question?
Yeah, I do. If you don't foreclose on this trailer, what's the incentive of everybody else in the trailer park not paying their taxes?
I would think that because we have the ability the following year to foreclose, we don't really have a lot that don't pay their taxes.
Well,
So
I understand.
yeah,
But if you don't do it, what is that telling everybody else in the trailer park?
okay, on the flip side of that, if we do foreclose on it, then we wouldn't necessarily, take ownership of it at the same time. If they're occupied, which these two are occupied, I understand your question. I'm trying to think of a logical way to explain it. I guess the incentive there isn't anything but a personal incentive, as these people want to pay their taxes. If we don't foreclose and then it becomes public that, hey, the town isn't foreclosing, we don't have to pay our taxes. I guess that would be something that could happen. It hasn't historically. And I've been doing this since 2008, and I have never seen it become a problem where it's people just stop paying their taxes because we waive foreclosure on some.
Well, I don't want to foreclose on people if we don't have to, but I'm just saying is I think down the road that may create an issue. So it's a
Can I
topic,
add-
it's a subject with no land involved.
Ken, I just want to clarify this. I want to make sure I understand this, but the property is liened though, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they can't sell it, right, Ken? So listen, what I do know is this, is that right now, I can't believe how much they're getting for trailers right now. I mean, a cheap trailer is $50,000 or $60,000, and that's one that's junk. So it does have value now. If we've leaned it, they can't sell it. If they sell it, we recoup our money. So I think that's the incentive right there, is that they can't just, No, so I understand what you're saying. I do. And my biggest concern is this, is that, is somebody, that has $1 million home that, doesn't pay taxes, and we foreclosed on them, and they come back to us and said, well, you didn't do it on this property, but you're doing it to me. Are we, treating people differently? And that's a concern. But for this stuff, I've followed this over the years, and this is the procedure they've always done. So, but that's my comment. Vinny, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is if I'm not mistaken, when you're behind on your taxes, you're charged interest while that's sitting there. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Okay, and then the other thing too is I would assume it goes on their credit. So now if they want to go buy a car or they want to do anything else, they're putting themselves in that position where they may not be able to do that.
That is correct as well.
Okay, all right, good. Thank you.
And Mike, to your point about somebody that has a house or what have you, we as a town are allowed to treat those properties differently. If we don't foreclose on some and we foreclose on others, there's no statutory requirement that we would foreclose on everybody. So we are not at risk.
No,
of
I
anything.
understand that.
No, I just wanted to,
yeah, I get that, but
I just wanted to make sure that you knew that there's no risk to the town of having any kind of issue with that.
Thank you. Ken, you still have your hand up, or do you have another question, or are you all set? All right, so can we go to you just got to click on the hand again one more time, Ken. All right, and Ken, Ann, and Vince, can you unmute for 1 second? All right, well, first, before we vote, is there any public comment? Anybody have any questions? All right, can we go to a vote? Do we need to make a motion now to, or the motion already done?
No,
We just vote on this. We just vote on this, right? Okay, all right. So, Ann,
All those in favor? Yeah,
all those in favor? Ann?
Yeah, yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So, all right. So going on to the next one. Resolve. Let me pull it up here just so I have it in front of me. Resolve appointing Andrew Fenty to the Open Space Committee, and Andrew Fenty, Open Space Committee. Be resolved that the Great Town Council hereby appoints Andrew Fenty as a regular member of the Open Space Committee to fill an unexpired term ending August 31st, 2027. First and final reading. Do I have any motions?
I'll put a motion.
Yeah, I'll second.
A second. Okay, Ken motion and Ann second. All right. So open up for comment. Does anybody have any comments? I do, but I'll let you guys go first. All right. What I'll say is this: if you look down here at the resolves, he's looking at 3 different committees. I've talked to people on these committees, and I think that when we really appreciate people stepping forward, we need more people to step forward. What we like to do is start somebody on one committee and not overload them, make sure that it works. And, as long as it works, then, add more. But I think 3 committees is too much. I think that, honestly, I prefer to that he starts with the festival committee, see how he interacts with everybody, and then move to some of the other committees. But does anybody else have anything that they want to add to that?
Yeah, I met with Andrew this morning. I met with Andrew this morning, and he's got a lot of big ideas. I'm comfortable with him starting with one committee. Although I mean we do have vacancies on a number of the committees, and if he feels like he's overwhelmed, he can always drop out, or step off. But so I'm comfortable with him being on Resiliency or Open Space. Either one of those I work with, and I'm fine with that.
Okay, does anybody else have any input? Let me see. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to decline the appointing him to the Open Space Committee.
I think you're amending the motion at this point.
Okay, I'm
Mike, right?
amending the,
Please-
I'm
please
amending the motion to decline him on the Open Space Committee at this point in time.
Do you need a second on that?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Kenny needs to accept the amendment and I do as well, since we moved in.
Okay,
you know, he
so,
moved on second.
and do you guys, you know,
I'll accept
Yeah,
that.
that's okay.
okay. And then how do we do? We get a second on my amendment? Or do we just vote on it?
I'll second it.
I think we just, I think.
So you
we
just
vote on
accepted
it.
them. You just did the motion to decline, and Ann and Ken accepted that amendment.
A second
Yeah.
to decline, yeah, so.
And so now we
they
vote on
change
it?
Now we vote on it, yep.
Think so.
All in favor? All right, so moved. All right, so the next one is the same thing, but let me pull it up. Let me read it to you. All right, so be resolved that the appointing Andrew Fenty to the Resiliency Committee. Be resolved that the Great Town Council hereby appoints Andrew Fenty as a regular member of the Resiliency Committee for the term expiring August 31st, 2028. This is the first and final reading, December 2nd, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve Andrew Fenty for the Resilience Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, open it up for comments. Let's see. Someone from the Resiliency Committee just sent me a message. You know, so again, I think that, you know, I think it makes a lot of sense to accept his position, but I'm recommending that we start with the Wild Blueberry Festival. So I'd like to make an amendment to, you know, to decline the Resiliency Committee, and I'm making a motion to do that. Ann and Ken, do you accept that?
No,
No.
All right, so, okay, so I guess we'll vote on it. All in favor? And I'm against. All right. So the next one is the Blueberry Festival. Let's see here. This one is appointing Andrew Fenty to the Blueberry Festival Committee. And I will read it. Is be resolved, the Great Town Council hereby appoints Andrew Fenty as a regular member of the Wild Blueberry Festival Committee with a term expiring on August 31st, 2028. This is the first and final reading, December 2nd, 2025. Do I have a motion?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. And do we have any comments?
Yeah. Can I make a motion to amend the motion to decline?
Sure. That would be Ann and Ken. Do you approve that?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Then all in favor? Okay, so moved. All right, Andrew, thank you for doing one of the committees. You know,
you.
if it works out well, let's talk about one of the other ones. All right, so the next one is appointing David Hall, so to the planning board. Let's see here. Appointing David Hall to the planning board, be resolved that the Great Town Council hereby appoints David Hall as a regular member of the planning board to fill an unexpired term expiring August 31st, 2027. This is the first and final reading, December 2nd, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll put a motion.
so moved. All right, I'll second.
All right, we'll open up for comments. I'll comment that, David has been trying to help out. He has been, volunteered last year to step up. He ran, for, this position. He wants to be part of this community. I think this gives him a really good opportunity, to get involved. I think he has the best intentions, and we need the help. And that's my opinion.
Well stated.
Benny, you're on the planning board. What does it look like? Do we need more people on there?
Yes, we have 3 people on there. I think it'd be great to have a 4th. So and I will echo Mike's comments. He did run for a town seat position, and he's made an effort to get involved. That would be great to have an additional body on the planning board.
Sounds
Excellent.
good.
All right. Anybody else? Ann, you got any comments?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So let's go to a vote. All in favor? All right. So moved. All right. So the next one is, this guy, appointing, let's see here. Council plans is the transfer station ad hoc committee. Appointing council plan as the transfer station ad hoc committee liaison. Be resolved that the Great Town Council hereby appoints Councilor Vincent Plans to serve as the transfer station ad hoc committee liaison for the term to expire in June of 2026. This is the first and final reading. Do I have a motion?
So
You have a motion?
All right. And all right, so I
Need a
will open
second?
up.
I'll second it.
we have,
Oh, well.
okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yes, second.
So, all right. So, always comment. I think I appreciate Vinny stepping up. I think if I remember correctly, Charity was here and there were some concerns with, her availability with her new job and some things that were going on. I think all of us are looking for, some good ideas of how to move forward. It's very important that, this is one of the places where it's the gathering place. Who would have thought that the most important gathering place in a town would be the transfer station? But, I appreciate Mr. Palange stepping up and, I thank you for that. So that's what I think. Cam?
Yes, Vinny volunteered to step up and Charity couldn't do it, and we appreciate him coming along. And first meeting is going to be on December 10th. So we're going to get the ball rolling and get this solved.
Kenny, what are the details of that first meeting, where it will be held and
It's
what
going to be
time?
in the town hall at 6 o'clock on December 10th.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Vinny, anything you want to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to supporting Ken and those who so graciously put forth their time to volunteer, and also looking forward to getting feedback from you, Mike, and feedback from you, Ann, as well, as we go through the process.
Excellent. All right. So if you want to just move forward, does everyone approve that? All in favor?
I vote for myself.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. All right, next, let's see here, guys. I gotta close out a couple of these. Got too many on my computer here. That's why I like multiple screens. All right, shoot, hold on one second. Why did that leave? All right, so the next one is the appointment of at-large MSAD 15 cost sharing formula committee. But why is, hold on, let me pull it up so I can read it. I apologize. It'll just take me 1 second. I don't know why it kicked me out. Why is that doing that? I apologize. All right, hold on. Hey, Vince, can you read the resolve, the attachment there? I don't know why mine's not popping up.
Let's see. Hold on. Give me 1 second here.
I don't know why mine did that. Mine did it too. All right.
I've got it.
Yeah, it says,
Mhm.
let's see, resolve 2526-26, appointment of 2 at-large MSAD 15 cost-sharing formula committee members. Motion be resolved that the Greytown Council hereby appoints the 2 individuals as discussed to serve on the MSAD 15 cost-sharing formula committee. These appointees shall take effect immediately and remain in force until the committee's work is accomplished. And then moved by for a second. So we need a first, I guess, to make a motion.
Yep.
Anyone?
I'll make a
So,
motion.
And then-
First of all, let's do
Let me
that, and
move it,
then
yeah.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
I'm
so get a first,
okay.
second. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
And
it.
then, okay,
we
and
have-
then let's, and
Okay.
then we open the floor for discussion on the motion, and then go right ahead, Mike. It's yours, all
Yeah,
yours.
All right, so guys, that's what I'm saying. I'm really excited about this resolve. When I joined the council, I really quickly realized that the biggest driver of our taxes is the municipal budget. It's the school funding. Learning that Gray pays that 2/3 of the district cost, while the Gloucester pays about a third. It really made it clear that the formula has some major impact on our taxes. As I researched how districts can apportion costs, I found out there are 3 methods. The one we use now, which is a per student, which is based on taxes, and then the one that's a per student model, and then there's the blended model. I really want to thank Sue Fuller and Judy for the work that they've done to gather all these signatures and get the conversation going to where we are today. It's been a lot of work. It's taken them a lot of time. I am going to, remove my name from the list, because I think, people think it's conflict of interest. I do believe that the town council really is the right body to evaluate this. We have I know it's not the way it's written up, but we do have a fiduciary duty to the town and the residents. And the school funding is complex. It involves the property values, state subsidies, and long-term tax impacts. Whoever serves on this committee needs to look at this information objectively. I want to make sure this process is, there's no perception of conflict. I know my involvement, has raised some concerns, so I'm going to withdraw my name. I also hope that the people that initiated the petition, do the same, not because that they did anything wrong, but because we want this outcome to be seen as fair for both towns. This is important that we get this done, but if the 2 people that started the petition are on the committee, then New Gloucester has a valid. Any one person can come up and say that it wasn't, evaluated and looked at it non-biased. And we need this done right. And I really hope that the 2 people that started this committee do the right thing and allow 2 non-biased people make the decision, because otherwise, I'm afraid that even if it gets approved, it'll get thrown out and all their work went to waste. That's my opinion.
So I'll jump in next. I mean, I also really appreciate the work that went into the petition drive to open up the discussion about the school funding formula. It seems like it's something that we haven't done in a long time, and it's not, it's always a good time to always a good idea to revisit this from time to time. I don't know. I have zero idea how this will change the division of funding between the towns. And I echo Mike in saying that I appreciate the interest of the people who pushed the petition, who got it going and got it done in serving on the committee. But I feel strongly that we need to open it up to people who kind of don't have a dog in the fight, don't have a preconceived opinion about what the formula should look like. And I think we're always looking for more people to step up and offer their knowledge and expertise to the town. And we have a total of 10 I think 10 applicants for these two spots, which is awesome. And some of whom, haven't really been involved with stuff like this before. So I guess, I mean, I'm not sure how we're planning to make this decision, but I'm certainly happy to recommend a couple of different people that are high on my list, but I really, there's, a top five or so or 5 or 6 that I'd be happy to see serve.
Ken?
Well, I think the two who did all the legwork and all the work into this should be the top two to get nominated. So they know the most about it. They've done all the work in it, and that's just how I feel about it.
I appreciate it. I understand that. And that's actually my biggest concern, that they're not going to be non-biased. Vince?
I think it's going to be a challenge although we can go through the process to find the two people tonight without having our fifth person here. But I'll leave it at that.
All right. Do you guys have anybody that you want to nominate?
Yeah, I'm going to nominate Judy Simino, Sue Fuller, and I think we should do alternates.
No, we don't. That's not what they're asking for. They're asking for 2.
Yeah.
Okay, those are my 2.
Okay. Do you have a second?
So do we vote on those?
Vince, well, somebody's going to second it first. Vince, are you seconding that?
I'll give a second.
Okay.
Are we going to
we'll
do
vote
2 at a time or 1 at a time?
I think we should do 1 at a time. So why don't we do what did you say, Sue first? So why don't we, Sue, do you second Sue, Vince?
Are we doing Judy or Sue first? I'm sorry.
So let's do Sue first, and then we'll do Judy.
Okay, I'll second Sue.
All right. All in favor of Sue? And all those opposed? All right. And then Judy, do you second Judy, Vince?
I will.
Right. So let's go to a vote. All those in favor for Judy? Vince, okay, all right, and all those opposed? And, okay, all right. So
Okay.
I know where we're at right now. I understand it. I have spent a ton of time looking at all the names, and doing a bunch of research, and, again, I want this. I think this is really, really important that we do the right thing for this town. And we need 2 pieces, right? We need somebody that's going to look at the data and make sure that it's right. And then the second piece is we also need to make sure that they can work with the other town to go over what works for them as well, because it's going to affect both towns. And again, I don't like that it's 2 people that don't have a fiduciary duty to this town. But since that's not the way it's written up, we need to find 2 people. And there's 2 people on there that that I felt were able to do a good job of both pieces, that will look at the information, non-biased. They have a lot of they're paying a lot of taxes as well, but also they want to do the right thing for this town. And one of them, the first one I'm going to nominate is Scott Lowell. And does anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of Scott Lowell? Opposed? Okay.
And
All right,
just
so
for the record, I actually did try to call Mr. Lowell up yesterday, and I left a message, and I called today, and I never got a call back.
Okay. So I know where this is going. I'm really disappointed that people aren't trying to work together, just trying to do their own thing.
Could I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
Can I
I know
make
what
a-
you're gonna do. Vince, let me
No,
finish.
no, you don't. No, it's I spoke with a gentleman today. His name was on the list. His name was Bennett Wade. Young man with a young family. He has a couple kids in the school system. and he's moved here, but he was previously moved from Freeport. He did attend when RSU 5 was going through their situation with Freeport, Pownell and Durham, and he's somebody that's passionate about the school system. He's been, getting up to speed on this, and I think he's somebody that would be unbiased and the type of person that, Ann had said hasn't come to our meetings, not really involved. He has watched some of our council meetings online, and I had a chance to talk to him today, and he seemed like a bright young man and somebody that might be what you're looking for. So I'd like to put his name forward.
I'd second that.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I had the same reaction to Bennett's application, and I kind of like the idea of having a younger person on the committee who, is going to be paying taxes on the school system for some period
Yes.
of time if they remain in grade longer than I probably will, and so I think it's important to have diversity in the representation on the committee. So yeah, I'd be excited to appoint him.
Yeah. And hopefully he'll join in as his kids get older. We'll do other things with the town when we retire from our positions.
Right.
So can we vote on this
Wanna
one?
call for a vote?
Yep. All in favor? All right. Do we have another name?
I would recommend, I'd like to nominate Steve McPike. He's somebody full disclosure, somebody that I worked with on other stuff related to Gray, most notably Libby Hill trails, and went back in 2010, I think it was, when we acquired land from Hancock Lumber on Libby Hill. And so I've worked with Steve over the years, and I know him to be a very diligent and responsible person. He takes his volunteer responsibilities very seriously. He doesn't have any kids in the school system, never has. So he sort of doesn't have that angle on it, but he's a data analyst and has a ton of, great experience and knowledge and expertise about how to look at data and how to think about, something like this. And for the record, I understand, I hear Mike's concern about, preferring to have council members be on this committee because of their fiduciary responsibility. But I honestly think I'm not as concerned about that. I think it's important to have people who are willing to listen and to review the data and to really think hard about that, because it affects their own taxes as well as everybody else in town. So I think Steve would do a great job in this committee, and I'd really like to see him appointed.
I'll second it. Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
I don't really understand. I think this is a hard way to do this. I think we should really come up with a different plan moving forward in the future. These are people that we don't even know. I don't know these people. So, I mean, something this important, I think next time we need to go with a different plan than this. But
Ken, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't like this at all. We talked about that earlier. I did quite a bit of research on this, and just to be fair, just to be upfront, I picked him as well. I just felt like he had the the negative was he knew, and I don't mean this as a negative bad thing, Ann, but he knew Ann, and I didn't want anybody, but he had the information that we need. He's a data analyst. He's going to look at it. He's going to make a good decision for all of us, and that's all we want. I don't want Sue and Judy to be mad. It's not that I don't like them. I just want this to work, and I just want the two people that are gonna help us get there. And so I think he was the other one that I felt like would do the right thing. So that's my thoughts. Vince, what do you think?
Not my top pick.
like I said, this is a hard way to do things, but we need to pick two. So
we'll go through it. And again, remember, New Gloucester picked 0 last night, so we're not as under the gun to I mean, it'd be nice, but we're not under the gun to have to get a second tonight.
I want to just move forward. I want to get this done, Vince. I understand your concerns, but I think it's important that, we put a deadline out there, of this, and, I think, is there any reason not to do them? That's my question. Is there something about this individual that doesn't think he's going to do them?
It's, sometimes there's a saying about rewarding good behavior or not rewarding bad behavior. And I look at the work that that Judy and Sue specifically did. And if not for their diligence on getting signatures and doing the process, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and there wouldn't be the opportunity for the townspeople of Gray and New Gloucester to do something revert something that's been 60 years old. So I really think that Judy Simino should be the pick.
And again, I understand what you're saying, but I think if Judy gets on there, then this will get overturned if it gets voted on. That's not what we want. We want this to pass.
And that's fair. And I think that's why we're at an impasse. And I think that's why if we can't agree on a second person, which is fine, we've got one, then we wait till everybody's present and we try to go forward from there, because I think we're probably at an impasse. And that's not bad. I mean, we all have our own thoughts, which I respect everybody's opinion. And we go from there.
Well, we're going to open up for a vote. I want to get this over with. We have a motion on the table for Mr. Pike. All in favor? All opposed? All right. So the way this works, I guess, is that it's a tie. At some point in time, in the next month or 2 or 3, we need to bring it back. It's not going to happen anytime fast.
We haven't through all the people.
Well, I mean, is there anybody else that you guys want to do? I mean,
well, I think once we get the 5 of us.
Suggestions?
What about Maureen Gilbert? Anybody know anything about her?
Yeah, I like Maureen as well. She was part of my top group. Again, she's a person with I think at least one child in the school system, and data analyst. She seems like she has skills that we need, and I'm not sure that it's important. I mean, I'm a little disturbed by the idea that we can only have people on this committee that we know personally or have vetted in some way. I mean, it seems like that's a way to, create a little club. Okay.
Can we just hold off and leave it at 1 for now and wait for Charity to come back, or do you want to move forward with this? How do you want to do this?
I mean, if we can get there, are you nominating Maureen? Because I'm happy to second that, and we can vote on her.
Well, I'm saying is that you guys are just stopping and you're not going through the other people. So do we have to nominate a person, or do we have to discuss them?
No. So all this is that we nominate 2 people. We nominate one at a time, and we're not going through the whole list unless people want to. That's not the idea. The idea is we nominate people. If we can't come to it, then we table it, and at some point in time in the future, we'll get it back on the agenda. Could be,
okay. I say we do that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It could be 6 months from now, though. I mean, it could be a month. I mean, it depends. The problem is that, the next meeting, there's a few people that can't make it, so we can't do it then. So you're not going to have a quorum.
The workshop's not.
But we can do it. No. I mean, we would have to have a full council meeting as part, in addition to the workshop, in order to, because we don't vote on at workshops.
Okay, all right. Is there a time limit or table that we have to have this done? What's the time limit?
I don't think there is one. And like I said, New Gloucester, they're doing theirs on the 15th, so maybe it's the week after Christmas. I mean, we'll find it. I mean, we'll find a date when we're all here. I think that's the bottom line. And I know people are traveling. It's just a tough month, but we'll find a date soon.
Okay,
I'm sure within the next month we'll do this. I'm sure within the next 30 days we'll get this done.
Right. Worst case scenario, it's January meeting, right?
I would agree with Ann.
I think that's a good idea. I think we need to come up with a different plan on how to do this.
to make a motion to table.
I motion to table.
I would second that.
All in favor? Opposed? And
I would really like to finish this tonight, but
Yeah.
so, all right, can we go through the list as Kenny was suggesting and see if there's anybody else that we can agree on?
If you want to, that's fine with
You
me.
want to? We just want to go right through everybody.
before,
All right. I'm just looking. I'll pick one. I'm just picking one off the top of my list. Colette. Oh, did we lose Mike?
Whoop,
I think we
where'd
lost
go?
Mike. I think we lost Mike.
Well,
I'll just make a motion that, for Colette.
I'll second that.
I guess we open it up for discussion, and I guess we wait for everybody to come back now.
Wait, but yeah, Mike's, so I see a note that Mike is typing.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's somebody else, some other Mike making a nasty note.
You're on. What, Mike? You're on mute.
oh, sorry about that. I
That's
was
okay.
writing, yeah, okay, no, I
That's okay.
apologize, so,
So in no particular order. So,
Yeah.
I guess the floor is open for that one for her to just talk about her.
Yeah, your video's off, Mike, if you didn't know that, but
Oh.
no, it's not.
Oh, he's
It's
back.
on,
You're back,
sorry.
Mike.
I see it
Okay,
now.
okay, okay.
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry.
You're back strong.
sorry,
You're
yeah.
back strong. Yep.
And the proposal was for Colette Tweeten.
yeah, I heard, I just, for some reason I hit the button, so yeah, I'm good, yep.
Okay.
All right. So
So-
any feedback? Like I said, I'm just going through one and somebody could pick one. I just picked one off the top. That's off the top, was off the top of my list.
I guess I'm just gonna say, I'm not excited about appointing people who have demonstrated in public that they, are, speak in a way that, I don't think is conducive to a thoughtful discussion about this kind of topic. So I'm not gonna approve Colette.
Okay. Anybody else?
I don't know. So we decided a 2-2 vote not to table this is where we're at.
That's yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Well, let's go back to Maureen Gilbert.
Well, we got to go through
Well, we
this
gotta
one
vote on
first.
Colette. Yeah,
Okay.
All in favor? All opposed?
Yes.
All right,
And-
so
you
you
guys
want
can
to,
pick somebody. No, go ahead. You go. I'm just.
all right, so listen, again, I want this, guys. I mean, this is so important to all of us. You know, I don't know why Mr. Lowell didn't call you back, but he has worked, been on a ton of committees here in Gray. He is worked on the Lake Association. He developed the boat that sucks up all of the milfoil. He pays significant amount of taxes. He understands budgets. He will make a decision that, that works for everybody. And I just think that, and he knows how to negotiate with people, because the big thing is also this, is that it's not just, looking at this and deciding, it's also making sure that the other town feels comfortable with the decision. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't look at is this, is when this first started, everybody talked about, saving Gray money, saving Gray money, saving Gray money. Well, New Gloucester doesn't want to do that, because then they think they have to pay more money. But in reality, there's a lot of things to this, is that, if this passes, which I would like it to, I hope that the Gray residents now will feel like they're not paying for everything. And there's an opportunity to spend some money on some bonds and pass those to improve our schools. And if the Gray residents don't feel like they're paying for everything, we can actually get some work done here. And so it's not just about saving money in taxes. It's about doing a lot more than that. And the two people that we pick, need to be able to talk to New Gloucester, work with them, and hopefully negotiate with them what's best for both towns, and that's all I want. I want to pick the two people that are going to, look at this. We've got one now that has a child in the system that wants to look at it that way. And we want to look at it at another viewpoint, someone that is going to look at all the data and be able to work with the other town because, a lot of people, and Sue and Judy know how it works. They understand it. I get that. There's funding that comes in based on home values. So what could happen is the New Gloucester residents, because their values of the home are less, they get a lot more funding from the state. But if we do it per student, that funding is going to go down. So this could cost us a lot more
Mike, I
money.
feel like this is a little off. I mean,
Well,
I think
I
it's
just
a
want
little off
I
topic, but
Well, my point is, Ann, is that when we pick these two people, we need to make sure they're looking at all aspects. That's my
okay,
point,
all
and
right.
that's
That's
what
a
I'm
fair
trying to get
point.
to, and that
Okay.
these people need to be well-rounded, and that's all I'm asking for, and that's why I again, I want to look at Scott. I've spent a lot of time looking at this, and I think he's one of the ones that's gonna to get us there.
But we already voted on it.
Well, you can bring
Yeah.
it back up again.
Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, only somebody who voted in the negative can bring it back up.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, Ken had mentioned Maureen Gilbert. Is it Maureen? I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind here.
I thought we
As an
voted on
option.
her already. Yeah, so he has
we
to
vote?
open it back up if he wants to do it. Okay.
Okay, right.
I want to bring back up table on it because we're not getting anywhere. So I don't think we're going to come up with anyone else, is my opinion. So there's no sense dragging this out for another half an hour. So let's vote on tabling it again. Or does somebody who voted that down have to bring that up?
That's correct.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Is that between Mike?
We got to make a decision, guys. We can't put this on one person.
Well, I know Charity doesn't want to be in the middle of this, but
No, and I will tell you, when I talked to her, the name she gave me was Scott, and that's one of the reasons I felt strong about it. Ann told me she thought about Scott, and that's why I'm saying this, guys. I mean, is there anything negative that wouldn't why you don't want him other than he didn't return Vinny's call?
Yeah.
These people, I don't know. It's not that I don't want anybody or I want anybody. It's just I feel more comfortable with people who have experience in doing the legwork and knowing more about this than anyone else. That's all. I mean, we don't know if they even know what this is about. Who knows? They're just making a form on a piece of paper. So is there any other way to do this other than bartering back and forth, 2-2?
I mean, that's how government works. You barter back and forth.
I don't really know. I just don't want to just, cave and just say, well, I don't want to discuss this no more and pick somebody and it's going to be a bad choice. That's why I think if we just tabled it, then we could maybe move on with something else.
Yeah, that's fine. And I, I'm not speaking for Charity. I'm just, I'm just trying to get it give everyone's opinion that I've talked to today. We need to get this done, and I don't want to put it on somebody. Who else? Who's left?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we can decide this way. It needs to be done in a different manner.
Well, I guess I'll open it back up, and I mean, let me move to reconsider the tabling motion that was voted down. And I guess I need a second for that.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, so next we're gonna move to referrals. Let me pull this up here.
I think to be clear, I made an error. I think I should have specified that we'll table it until the next council meeting, which
Yes.
looks like it's going to
Yes.
be January 6th or whatever that is.
Okay, we're gonna open it up for public comments again.
So whoever's in the chat, if you want to just raise your hand, I will select you to unmute your mic, and then I'll start the timer. Okay, so we have Susan. Susan, give me 1 second here to get this all set up. Okay, Susan, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, go ahead.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we all set? Are we good?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that I've enjoyed very much working through this process, getting the signatures, meeting everybody. And I've been working in the school department that I'm currently in for 25 years. And I was previously almost 2 years in Freeport Public Schools. I have worked in the finance department. I have worked with all the forms that you're going to be working with. I do have insight. Just because I collected the signatures should not disqualify me. That should probably qualify me because I see there's room for change and making things better. I love accounting. I love numbers. I get along with people. I just want fair. And right now, I don't believe the system that we're using is fair. And for the local share, I'm just talking about the local share. So I just kind of want to plead my case that I'm an advocate for Gray taxpayers. I care about them. And Gray is paying the lion's share of MSAD 15. And is that fair when there's only 245 students difference between Gray and New Gloucester? I do understand the funding. I've been in it for 27 years. So, and then just to sweep me under the rug, I just don't believe is the right thing to do. Is anyone on here have any school experience? Do they understand the accounting? Do they understand school funding? I have insight. I have connections with the Department of Education. I don't burn bridges. I have, my current boss, I can even ask questions to. I just want what is fair for and right for both towns. And I just think it's a shame that you would disqualify me because I did the petition. And when I can see that it needs to be changed. It's been this way, I believe, from day one. And change is a good thing. Nothing stays the same forever. And I just want you to hear my plea with you tonight. And I will represent Gray. I would do a good job. And I just would like to be considered. So that was all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to raise their hand to speak? Chris, let me unmute you, Chris. And Chris, go ahead and unmute yourself and try to talk.
Are we good?
Yes, we are. Go ahead.
Okay. So I know this is a pretty hot topic for everybody involved, and I can understand all points of view, for trying to find somebody who's unbiased. To that, I would say at this point, there probably isn't anybody who's unbiased. Um, you want someone who is a little involved, that knows what's going on, and has done the research, or at least has been following along. It really not necessarily has to do with research, but following along, looking at the numbers. I mean, I've known the split for a while. I had 3 kids go through this school system, and been wondering the whole time, why is it like this? And it is time for a change, and it is time for this council to put something together to get involved and maybe look at changing the split, so it's a little more fair. And it's one of these hot button topics right now, but I think the two people that did the most work on this, Sue and Judy, like, they know what they're talking about. It's not even a matter of being biased. They looked into it, they did the research, they have the background for it, they have the town's best interest at heart, which I think is very important. What town wouldn't want that for any person representing their town, to have the town's best interest and know what the town's people want? Not the town, not the town council, not the school board, but the town itself. So I just wanted to, kind of put that out there, that is important, to keep all of that information, in the decision being made to put this together.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Anybody else? And I'm not seeing anyone, Mike.
All right, thank you, guys. Let's move on. And next on the agenda is me losing the sheet here. Let's see here. All right, so next on the agenda is the referrals, and we are talking about the mooring ordinance. So I requested this due to someone calling us and bring it up. Residents has expressed an interest in regulating vessels on Gray Lakes. Little Sebago's one, and also I know Crystal's another big one. The town's previously reviewed at some draft language for a mooring ordinance. A workshop's going to allow the council to scope objectives, review legal authority, and determine the next steps. So we're going to review prior draft ordinances and best practices from other main municipalities. We're going to confirm municipal authority and enforcement options. We're going to discuss the permitting framework for fee schedules and resource implications, and identify stakeholders and then engage them, like the Lake Association, the watershed partners, and we're going to outline a timeline for the potential ordinance development and public hearings. As far as I have seen it particularly down here where there is, a right of way, and you'll see 20 boats parked in a cluster, and they're smacking up against each other, and it just as property value gets more and more expensive, I just think that an ordinance does make some sense. Does anybody want to add to that?
Go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, I would just say that I also agree that we need this mooring ordinance. This is something that the Lake Associations requested that the town do several years ago. They brought, I think, a draft to us at that time, and we just, I don't know, it was during the pandemic or something. I don't remember exactly what the details were, but we were kind of overloaded with work and maybe looking for a new town manager or something like that. There was just a lot of stuff on our plates, and we couldn't get to it. But I think especially the recent Crystal Lake Estates proposal that would have been right just across North Raymond Road from Crystal Lake really spoke to the need for something like this because, you know, development is continuing around the lakes and even if people aren't living near the lakes, if they can talk a property owner into giving them a right of way to the lake to, or even if they can't, you know, they just use a public boat launch to launch their boat and moor it wherever they want. So I think I am concerned about this. I know this is something that the state legislature considered. They didn't act on a bill, but they, you know, it's been part of a statewide discussion, and Gray's not the only community where this is happening.
All right, Tab?
Yeah, actually, I did look this up from the state of Maine, and this is a little complicated. We should probably had Tammy talk about this. So basically, you have to appoint a harbor master, and I do believe that people who live on a lake should have the right to protect what's in front of their property. So yeah, I have no problem with doing a mooring ordinance, but something that Tammy should dig into and seeing how to do it correctly.
And I would add on to that. I also think it's definitely worth looking into. And I think I would add further for the residents of the town. There's so many different things that are going on and so many balls in the air that if there's something like this that affects you, whether it's a mooring ordinance or something else, I would implore people to come up to the meetings and speak, because sometimes that's how we find out about things. That's how we get educated on things, by you folks coming out. So I appreciated the woman that came to spoke about this. It was something I wasn't aware of. So again, don't assume we know everything. As a community, we're much stronger when everybody has a voice to come out and speak. So I would just say thank you, and I'm definitely in support of looking at this.
Yeah, and one thing to add to that is I absolutely agree, and I also think it's great if you know, send an email to us, send an email to the town manager, because you know, if we don't know about stuff, there's nothing we can fix, right? And these are the things that I think all of us want to work on. So you know, do I have a motion to accept this referral?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, thank you guys. All right, so the next one, the final one on here is the review of the current policies and procedures. Vince Palange brought this up on 11/26. You know, the town of Gray maintains numerous policies and procedures governing operations, personnel, finance, communication, and governance. Giving our evolving best practices, compliance requirements, and operational needs, a comprehensive review will ensure policies remain current, consistent, aligned with town goals. You know, so we want to do an inventory of all the current policies and procedures, which are personnel, fiscal, communication, committee, safety, etc. Assess compliance with state and federal requirements. Third, identify gaps, outdated provisions, technology use, workplace flexibility, DEI, and risk management. Prioritize areas for new policies, development, and amendments, and outline a timeline and a process for council review and adoption. You know, I think this is something that Ken and I, you know, I mean, Vince and I have talked about a lot. But Vince, why don't you kind of talk about this and, you know, what you think?
Well, you know, I just think it's one of those things, you know, you come into the town council, and I think we're all here in that you assume certain things are done and they're fine and they're done a certain way and everything is good. And I guess really we just want to kind of revisit things. We want to make sure that everything is being done right for the employees, for the town. And we just want to get our arms around thing. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's piece by piece. But this is the big one. And we just want to revisit it to make sure that things are being done properly. Pretty much, like you said, make sure that we're up to any, you know, compliance from the state. We want to prioritize the policies, and we just want to make sure that things are where they are. We just don't want to assume. We want to look at it and revisit things.
Ken?
Yeah, well, we've only been on the council, Vinny and I, and Charity, for 4 months, and some of these things that are popping up are from the previous council, and they kind of catch us off guard. So yeah, I think having a plan of everything that was in motion before us would just be a good plan to have.
Ann, do you have any comments? You're on mute, Ann.
Ann, you're on mute.
You wouldn't think I've been doing this as many years as I have. I'm still a little unclear about kind of which policies you're talking about here. Our practice has been to when the new council comes on board to revisit the policies at that point. And I mean, and that's more the council's sort of operational policies. And the town itself has a bunch of different policies. That's a big job to go over all of those. I'm not sure that we identified those as one of the FY26 priorities when we did our council retreat back in September. So I'm a little concerned about adding this. I know we just added to the referral list the mooring ordinance. That doesn't mean we have to do it, in the next 2 months. But we're already adding to the list. And just as a reminder that the top FY26 priorities that we agreed on in September were sort of get finances in order, design better budget process, zoning. That you'll hear. I'm not going to be at the next week's meeting, or the week 2 weeks from now, but the workshop on the housing bills. But that's going to be a lot of work. Employee support actions. I'm not sure what you guys had in mind for that. That wasn't one I voted for. But the future of the transfer station is huge. So that's going to be requiring some work in the short term. So I just want to point out we already have a lot on our plate, and time is a limiting factor. So I just want to caution you about adding too much.
Absolutely. I think this, and to your point, it's kind of like the ordinance for the for what we were talking about before, for the water.
Mooring ordinance.
It doesn't obviously doesn't have to happen right now because people will be getting their ice fishing rigs out pretty soon. But it's something that we'll look at as time goes. But you're right. Finances in order. We want to make sure that the 24 and 25 audits get done. That's crucial. Obviously, taking a deep dive at that. The zoning, I think you're 100% right. That's probably number one, because obviously with commercial and business, we need to do that. And obviously the transfer station, we're starting. So this is not something I think that is going to happen in the next month, 2 or 3. And maybe 1 or 2 of us will just start looking through it. And if we see ideas or have thoughts on things, to pull them out and maybe present them to everybody else to get their input. So, but you're right.
Yeah.
I think that Denise could help facilitate some sort of prioritization process or something to help us, figure out what we should be spending time on what we agree as a group that we should be spending time on at this point. I don't know.
So I know, Ken, you get your hand up, but I'm gonna let Denise jump in here because Denise does have a plan. Okay. I'm gonna let her share that plan because I think it's important. But there are a couple things in there that really concerned us. I'll tell you in what they are offline. It's more of something that's not to be discussed. It's more of a personnel thing that I want to mention, but not on here. So Denise, tell me, tell me your plan, please.
Well, one of the things when you folks nominated me for consideration for interim is wanting to take stock in all of the existing projects and initiatives that the town currently has completed or in process of completing, things that have been identified, as well as what the council initiatives that you folks are really, really wanting to have, and putting all of that together. And I'm offering and I've done this for 2 councils in the past, for the Auburn City Council, and I also did it for the Saco City Council. I did it for 2 planning boards and 1 planning board, and 2 commissions, economic development commissions. What it is it's like a dartboard approach. You list everything you want, and then we run through a prioritization grid process, and we do this in public, and then we isolate exactly what you want to be doing, what you want to focus on, and there are low-hanging fruit, things that you can do tangentially with a complex project, and you set up a 1 to 2 to 3 year timeline so that we're not just grasping, if you will, at things that are like hot burner. I mean, those things are going to come up, but I think it's good to have a 1 to 3 year plan in place. And then that can overlap with new councils, but the new council that would be coming up would actually know what you folks have been working on and what's coming up down the pike as part of their, even part of their campaigns and part of what they want to get involved in. So I'm offering to do that. And it's kind of one of those things that it's one of my skill sets that you get to have without paying $2,000 for a consultant to come in and do the math on that one. So I'm offering it.
Yeah, and I just want to be real clear that, this is something that we're charging the staff to do. We can ask for things to be added, but this is on their plate to put all the stuff together that we're asking. This isn't something that we do. Ken, sorry, your hand's still up.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't have my hand up. I must have
Okay,
hit the wrong
Ann,
button.
no problem.
Yeah, I just heard you say something different from what I heard Denise say, and I wanted to clarify that. She was offering to do some sort of public process that would involve the council, and you're saying no, the staff would do this. So I don't. I mean,
Okay, yeah, so what I understand from talking to Britt, and I'll let her speak and she can clarify.
Britt or Denise?
Britt, she's on mute though. Oh, there you go.
Hi. So the point of these referrals is to discuss the items that you would really like to talk about. So yes, Denise talked about the dartboard approach of the priorities and making that list, but the items that you would decide on through that process is going to be charged with the staff. So any of the policies that you wish to revisit and look at, that would be us, the staff members, taking that deep dive into it. Just to clarify. So it wouldn't necessarily be so much of the council taking all on that on of rewriting the policies that would come to us. So just clarifying that.
And the key and the interface, sorry, here, I should have raised my hand, but just to interject. So what Britt said, it's not mutually exclusive. The processes can happen together. So bottom line is if it's a priority for you to look at staff policies and policy and do a policy review, then that bubbles up on your highest list, then we do that. But we can't do a review plus do, financial reviews and all of that at the same time because we don't have that deep a bench to be able to tackle it all at the same time. So just offering to prioritize what order and the timelines.
And I think that the purpose of this is to get it on there. I mean, we've got referrals on here that go back a long ways. And, there's other ones that, Vince and I have talked about, and I'm sure others have too. I would like to see eventually there be a real, wage plan, where we do a wage study, where somebody external looks at towns and makes sure that, everybody is paying appropriately for the hours and the work. And, so there's a lot that we need, but if we don't get them on as a referral, they're not going to get done. So that's where we're at with this. So I think now, Brett, we just, vote if we want to put this on as a referral. Is that correct? All right. Can I have a motion to put this on as a referral?
I'll put a motion on.
Vince seconded it.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor? All right, excellent. Thank you, guys. I just want to mention that, we still do have a few current referrals, include the comprehensive plan rezoning, the water quality, shoreline zoning, the pop-up business ordinance, the update the public safety ordinance, the VTP, the transfer station ad hoc committee, and then we've got the meetings coming up, which are the town council workshop on January 6th, the town council January 6th meeting, which is at 7 p.m. The workshop is 5. The budget workshop is February 3rd, and the town council meeting is on February 3rd at 7 p.m. We will be adding some other meetings because we have a lot coming up. We've got to discuss quite a few things, and we also need to really make sure that this budget process goes smoothly. I think every single person on this council agrees that we don't want to make it like last year. We want to make sure that that it's done the right way and that everybody gets what they need, but also making sure that the town gets what they need as well. So there's a lot that's going to be coming up, and we appreciate your time. So now we're going to be heading into an executive session. The Gray Town Council will enter into executive session under MRSA S4056E, the attorney-client consultants, and we are going to adjourn the meeting. This is the town of Gray is an equal opportunity employer and complies with all applicable equal access to public accommodations and laws. If you're planning to attend the town council or town meetings, committees, or board meetings and need assistance for the physical disability, please contact the town manager's office at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting to have the town assist you. The number is 657-3339, 657, and if you need to touch on it, 657-3931. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Before we do, is Kyle going to send us the new link? Because it's obviously not this link.
You should have had it, but we will have him send a second link. Yes.
All right, great.
very-
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You received the
Great
link
son of
this
us.
morning around 9:30.
All right, the one you said.
Britt.
Okay, we'll use that one, Britt. I've got that one. Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion. I'll second that.
All right. All in favor? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.